In the Michigan 7th Congressional District, Mark Schauer, a Democrat, is facing re-election. The district is largely seen as a Republican district. He is facing Tim Walberg. The purpose of the ad is to build support for Mark Schauer. To have seniors come out and vote for Mark Schauer, to come out and campaign for Mark Schauer, and to get their friends and relatives to support Mark Schauer and oppose Tim Walberg.
Tim Walberg.
If you think you're going to privatize Social Security,
You're going to have to go through me.
And me.
And me.
here's what you don't get, Mr. Walberg.
We live on our Social Security.
We paid into it for more than 50 years.
And we depend on it every day. So when you call Social Security worthless, Mr. Walberg,
And a Ponzi scheme?
And say you want to privatize our Social Security, Mr. Walberg.
you're going to have to answer to us.
I'm Mark Schauer, and I approve this message.
The ad makes three fundamental claims. First, it makes the claim that Social Security is vital to these people. This is an explicit claim. Second, it also makes an explicit claim that Tim Walberg will hurt Social Security. Finally, it makes an implicit claim that Mark Schauer will protect Social Security. This is a very auditory-based ad. It is begging to be heard rather than seen. Let's replay the video of the ad with no sound. Now let's replay the audio of the ad with no video.
Tim Walberg,
If you think you're going to privatize Social Security,
you're going to have to go through me.
And me.
And me.
here's what you don't get, Mr. Walberg.
We live on our Social Security.
We paid into it for more than 50 years.
And we depend on it every day. So when you call Social Security worthless, Mr. Walberg,
And a Ponzi scheme?
And say you want to privatize our Social Security, Mr. Walberg.
you're going to have to answer to us.
I'm Mark Schauer, and I approve this message.
The ad primarily delivers information to your ear rather than your eye. If you merely see the ad without hearing it, you'll be at a loss to understand what the ad is about. But if you hear the ad, you get all the important data. In fact, I submit that you could actually play this ad on the radio and you would still get all the data. The audio can be broken into two parts, the spoken word and the music. The most important part of the audio is the spoken word. The ad itself can be broken into four parts, and we will analyze the spoken word looking at these four parts. First, there's a declaration of anger, and then there is a plea to defend Social Security. There is then an indictment against what is claimed that Mark Walberg is doing. Yes, I did just say Mark Walberg. Of course, I meant Tim Walberg. And then there was a final declaration of anger. The beginning and ending anger declarations are effectively the same thing. Concerning the anger declarations, they are trying to get your attention. They are trying to effectively say, I am angry and you should concern yourself with this. Thus, pathos. Concerning the plea to defend Social Security, it specifically raises two issues during the discussion. It raises the issue of fair play.
Security.
We paid into it for more than 50 years.
And it also raises the issue of social responsibility.
We live on our Social Security. And we depend on it every day.
Ethos. Concerning the Mark Walberg, yes, I did just say Mark Walberg. Of course, I meant Tim Wahlberg. Indictment section. The speakers in this ad cite specific quotes from Tim Wahlberg that suggest he will endanger Social Security. These include: the first two quotes mentioned.
So when you call Social Security worthless, Mr. Wahlberg,
And a Ponzi scheme?
Demonstrate he doesn't value Social Security, which is important to these people. Logos. The final quote is the most interesting quote.
And say you want to privatize our Social Security, Mr. Wahlberg.
It can be viewed one of two ways. If the ad viewer has some level of understanding about privatization, he or she can react to this claim based on his or her knowledge. However, if the ad viewer doesn't have much knowledge about privatization and lacks understanding, the viewer is more likely to interpret it as you are taking something that is important to these people and replacing it with something unknown. Thus, in the case of the viewer who has knowledge about privatization, logos. But in the case of the viewer who does not have knowledge about privatization, pathos. The music is largely understated. However, if you listen carefully, you can hear the primary instrument is something like a xylophone. And this instrument has a very staccato, almost like an alert feel to it. The speakers are very straightforward. There are 6 elderly people with no discernible way to differentiate between them. They all retain a concerned or even angry expression. The selection of these people and the way that there is a rapid change between each of the speakers is to convey the idea that these are traditional, average elderly people, and there is a large number of them rather than just 1 or 2 individuals. Thus, it allows people to feel comfortable in joining in rather than fearing that they are joining some unusual group. These are people who could be your grandma or grandfather. So you feel safe joining the bandwagon. Selected words and quotes from Tim Wahlberg are displayed, and done so only when citing a specific Wahlberg quote. In addition, the most important words are usually bigger than the other words. This is done to reinforce memory and to ensure that people take away from the logical argument, to ensure people remember Wahlberg's comments concerning Social Security. In other words, the shower campaign is providing both a visual as well as an audio way to remember that Wahlberg is going to hurt Social Security. And they are doing the visual twice by both seeing the lips move as well as seeing the actual words. The ad's primary audience is going to be seniors. It is an ad done by seniors designed to appeal to other seniors. If the viewer is a senior, it is possible that the viewer will see himself or herself as one of the speakers and may be in a situation very similar to that of one of the speakers. Logos. However, it can also speak to those people who aren't seniors but who have friends who are seniors. To them, the message is clear. Be afraid if Mark Wahlberg is elected, because he may hurt your senior friends or yourself if you are a senior. Therefore, pathos. I believe that the ad does work. It primarily does engage on an emotional level, but it can get you to fear for yourself if you're a senior or your senior friends, because it provides enough justification based on logical evidence that can reasonably lead a person to believe that they or their friends are in danger if Mark Wahlberg or if Tim Wahlberg gets elected with facts by using facts and logic. The big weak point in the ad is the use of the word privatization, It is not usually a word that really lends itself to being a scary word, unlike Ponzi scheme and worthless. However, Social Security privatization is not a minor issue currently in this election season. It has come up multiple times in the public debating arena, and given this fact, and given that the ad is directly addressed to seniors, it is reasonable to assume they will already know and understand its implications.